Welcome to Courtney's Food Fix, Fuel for Your Fullest Life. Today we are talking about walnuts. I love walnuts. They're so good for you. And here, look at the beautiful walnuts that we have. Ooh, we're gonna make them dance. We got some chopped walnuts. Here we have some walnut halves. Boom, boom. I'm also doing this because I couldn't find any whole walnuts, which is so strange because I grew up with walnuts like in bowls all over my house. My father was a walnut man. But this is the Wealthy Walnut because they are so rich. I know we're not going to talk about that. I've already gotten shade about that walnut. It looks good enough, but I did a great job on the crown down there. All right, so do you know that the walnut tree is one of the oldest trees like known to man? They started like in the old world, in the other world, in the underworld. They're everywhere. But they're the oldest tree, way before that apple tree. Then what happened is they got cultivated by different, and mainly the British. They were really big, and Chinese too. And they got cultivated, and then they just sort of moved around. And then what's so amazing about it is the biggest cultivators of walnuts right now is, look at California. Yes, yes, the California walnut. If you see a walnut, chances are, what? Came out of California if you're in the United States. All right, let's talk about what makes that walnut so nutritious and fabulous. Well, walnuts are incredible. They have a whole bunch of folic, which I love to talk about, that folic acid. It's good for all the mamas, all the pregnant ladies, and reducing those birth defects. So it's great for that as well. Huge omegas, all the oils in it. Walnuts. You're talking about walnut oil. Oh my gosh, I love keeping walnut oil on hand because I love to make walnut dressings. Incredible protein. Actually, the walnut is made up of probably more fat and then just a little less protein. And then as well, the walnut is just an incredible substitute, especially for vegans and vegetarians. Wonderful. You can turn it into a meal and smush it back together. You can make walnut balls. Our companion video this week is going to be walnut cake. And I will make that sometimes with a walnut meal, and I'll make it with ancient grains. All right, now let's get to the nitty-gritty of that walnut. Now, a walnut actually is not a nut. Do you know it's a fruit? It is related to an olive. It is a drupe. It is the fleshy outside with the seed on the inside. Amazing, huh? So we just call them culinary nuts, and they all just sort of fall in that category. Some are nuts. Some are. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. All right, now, walnuts. Now, I told you how much I love walnuts because I actually cannot remember a time in my life when there were not walnuts around. And that brings me to my daddy. Yeah, I'm talking trash. Do you know that my father ate black walnut ice cream probably 4 or 5 times a week? We had an extra freezer and refrigerator in the back. And he would put that black walnut ice cream out there, and I think that he liked it because we didn't. So that doesn't get a smiley face. So we'd go back there with a spoon and leave with nothing on it because we ate the other things. All right. Incredible thing about walnuts, they're pricey as a mofo, which is what they should be because what? They are so valuable and rich. And I say that easy walnuts, $8.99, that's on the low end. $9.99, that's unorganic. You start getting into organic walnuts, you're talking about $12.99. They're not the most expensive nut, but they're up there. But they're worth it. And then I almost forgot to talk about, let's talk about storage. Because, of course, they are made of primarily of oils, you want to keep your walnuts in dry places, dry or cool. You want to keep them away from the stove. If you have walnut oils, away from the stove. As well, and just in terms of I actually keep mine in the refrigerator, and then if I'm not using them fast enough, then I will put them into the freezer. But they really do well in the fridge, protected, cool, so that they can keep all the oils inside, because you don't want those oils to turn rancid, and that's a yuck. And then, here we go, is the wrap up. Who's the boss? Who's the king? King Walnut, of course. And look at that crown, because he's what? Super rich. All right, you guys, thank you for joining me for another episode of Courtney's Food Fix. Like I said, we will be making walnut cake this week, and much love. Fuel for your fullest life.